So your body really is a vessel for vitality. And sexuality is the force. That's the force that's inside of you. So you have force and then you have vitality. So in other words, we want to bring forward a wellspring of energy for you. And this energy should flow naturally to your home. Your home is your body. That is your home. Your home is your body. This in turn gives you a sense of well-being. In essence, when you have a sense of higher self, you have a sense of vitality, you have a sense of nutrients, vitamins, and your whole system is awake and in unity, there is a flow. And the key to that flow, the two we're discussing right now, is movement and sexuality or sensuality. And the third, we're going to get to hopefully today or next week. Because your body is a portal for your spirit. If the body is worn down, the spirit has a difficult time residing in the center of its home. And even though you think physical health comes from physical well-being, more importantly and more realistically, the spirit being centered in your body equals well-being, because the spirit can transcend the physical entrapment of your cellular memory. If the body is under heavy levels of stress, emotional stress, physical harm, and mental chatter, then the spirit has a hard time being at peace in the body. When people experience shock, we don't call that physical shock, it's soul shock. And that's where the spirit steps to the side of the body in order to cope with the stresses and the strains of a physical situation. That makes people experience feeling lost. And this is what people refer to as a broken heart. But there's no such thing as a broken heart. There's only a broken soul, or a soul that gets pushed out of the body. From that soul shock springs alcoholism, eating disorders, drug addiction, sexual addiction, shopping addiction. The physical body under trauma is a shock to the system. And these things keep replaying back the violence, and the spirit will continue to move further and further away, and the spirit will be pushed out eventually. And this has implications, and the implications that it has is that then the body starts to degrade. The cells start to degrade. The force of the earth starts to pull down on the physical body. Vitality creates love and inspiration. Inspiration means to be inspired. And the word inspired means to be one with the spirit. Inspiration means to be in union with spirit, inspiration. The root word of spirit means breath, or the breath of life. To have the breath of life moving through you, you must have air. You must have flow. You must have more room in your physical, mental being to allow air to flow through you. The reason why you think of spirit as being light, not light like a color, like the color of lightness, but light like it's light, it's like ether, is because it isn't bound by the weight. And weight of the physical comes with items that you own and things that you collect around you, including your patterns. So the word spirit translates into the word air. You need the breath of life in your body, air and motion, to get life force back into your body. You need to get air and oxygen into your cardiovascular system and the nutrients into your system to feed your muscles. That comes through movement. Living a static lifestyle cuts you off from spirit. Movement is spirit in the body. It's your cardiovascular muscular system working and your muscles being invigorated with blood flow. Your body needs to be a vessel for space. Space for your soul, space for your spirit to reside. It needs to be a sanctified temple. It's the seat of your soul, and it's the place where you are given by God and the Great Spirit and the Great Will to reside within. If you can't be at peace in your body, there's no thing that you can buy and no relationship that you can ever have that will give you that experience. There's a fundamental disjointedness and separation between you and your willpower. And that separation between you and your willpower is in your physical being. The physical form, having movement in your body, is so important because the space that you were given by God for unity itself, the space for yourself to arise, your sense of self and your sense of unity, is in the physical. You can't get it in books. You can't get it from others. You can't get it. It has to sit within you. Having emotions and trapping them in your physical body leads to physical ailment. Allowing emotions to flow through you will give you space to feel what you feel when you feel it, and to not identify with it and trap it, and to let it flow through you. So, starving yourself of this energy is like insulting the miracle of life that you were given. You must stand up and you must take control of your physical form, because it is inside of you and within your physical body that is the key and the access that the great divine forces and the physical world come together. It is the portal of your spirit, and your body, your physical space and your physical body must be taken care of by it, by you. You are the caretaker. You are the king. You are the queen. You are the one who owns your physical space. So you must give honor to the space around you and to your physical body, that you can stand inside of it and take ownership over it. It's your body, it's your life. We are going to teach you to move, to walk, to dance, to dress, and to be empowered. Empowerment and stability, spiritual awakening doesn't come from any other space than first and foremost opening the sensual channels in the physical, and then owning the physical to build it up, molding yourself like clay into something divine. And that's really important that you don't bring it. This isn't going to be an exercise class. This is something totally different. We're talking about beauty and embodiment and being in your full form, however, yet owning that form and helping you to change, see many of your things that you deal with, the things that have happened to you in your life, where you get blocked with spiritual progress, where the spirit can't come anymore to you, is because you're holding on to the cellular memory of those experiences, those old beliefs, those traumas. If you're inside of an abusive scenario, what's keeping you trapped there is your physical holding on to the cellular memory. And openness wants to occur to get new life flow through you. Sometimes all it takes to break a long-term pattern of abuse is to start a pattern of movement. Literally. To move in different ways than you've ever moved before. Because when you move in different ways than you ever moved before, you don't have to go in and deal with the trauma and the things that happened to you and slowly, like little grains of sand, take out that physical memory. When you start a new pattern, you override it and you squish it out. You move it out. And there's a spiritual teaching about that. And there's physiological teaching about that. It takes 10 weeks to build a new neural pathway. And thinking about it, waiting until you feel differently about yourself doesn't build a new neural pathway. But you can rewire your entire nervous system. You can literally rewire the way that your body flows and the way those hormones flow through your body, those things we call thoughts and feelings and thought patterns, by creating a brand new, completely different neurological pattern. And that has to be within movement. It has to be in movement. Now, movement combined with spirit, those two together is your mystical platform for all transformation. So literally, you can change a lifelong problem by creating, simply doing a new movement pattern, stretching in different ways, moving your body in different ways. All the memory that is inside of your cells in your body, if you move in different ways, you are transforming your life because you are changing the habit of your movement. The interesting thing is that most people are unconscious of their physical patterns and habits. Sometimes people are slightly aware of them, but usually you are so unaware of how you move. And we're not talking about body language. Body language is like one little piece of movement patterns. Usually you're so unaware that you don't even know how you're walking, how you're talking, how you're reaching for something, how you're carrying out your routine, how you're sitting within yourself. We can go on and on. Therefore, you are not aware of this secret. And it's the best secret that you could ever know. And the secret is that your thought patterns are not mental. They are physical. Every thought that you have, every emotional experience that you experience, every belief that you have is trapped inside of your physical patterns and routines. The only way to break an abusive cycle is to change your physical actions that you are taking. And here's the thing, they create you, but they don't have you. You have them. You're in the driver's seat of your body. You are responsible for what shows up in your life, what you have. I could give you the science and the background as to why this is. And I have spent years, literally the past 20 years of my entire life, cultivating this science. But I'm not going to waste your time with that because it's crap. It's just science. You can read about this if you want. Do that on your own time if you need that kind of mental chit-chat. In this work, we've seen hundreds of people change their lives, including incurable diseases, simply through changing the communication that they're making with the world through their physical habits. How you want to look at yourself in the mirror, like the actual mirror in your, your bedroom or your bathroom or however you do yourself in the morning, your mirror, how you relate to yourself in the mirror is also a complete illusion based on how you've constructed things physically. The kind of music that you're listening to, the kind of things that you're implanting into your vessel, these are all routines. Most people make the cup of tea or cup of coffee or do their thing in the morning exactly at the same time, in the same way, with the same food, with the same flavors, with the same sounds, with the same beeping, with the same confined feet patterns. If we were to paint your feet, it would walk in the same line through your house to your car. You have your foot in the same way on that gas pedal. You never change anything. And those routines, as well as them constantly teaching you to be stuck, they have you avoid being responsible for healthy movement and through living a flourishing life. They're easy, you know them, you're like a robot or an animal that's just stuck in it in a complete hypnotic daze. A belief is not actually a belief. People are not abused because they have brought it to themselves based on their beliefs about what they should and shouldn't have. There's no such thing as a belief pattern, even though that's what we say and it's what we've taught you. There are only physical patterns and emotions and hormonal reactions to those physical patterns, which is why there is an abusive cycle, because it is a pattern. And that cycle, once it starts, has to continue until it is its point where that pattern can be broken, meaning it's a routine. People are like computers following a routine. Breaking a routine is never going to happen. It can't happen. You can't break a routine. But giving someone a new routine, something completely different that you've never done, that you've never experienced, that you've never felt, that can happen. That can happen easily. So let's take love, for example. Love is an emotion. No one ever says love is a pattern or a cycle. No one ever says love is an entrapment, real love. Why is that? Because love is something that exists outside of patterns and outside of belief. Love is a full body experience that overrides all patterns and notions of self. In fact, when you love, you don't experience yourself. You actually experience being selfless. Like, you can't feel your faith. You can't feel your being. You're just in love. It overrides what was, and it overrides what was going to be. It is a pure energy that is so real and so explosive that it changes people's entire systems go haywire. Their belief systems, what they thought was possible, and everything that they thought was real can change with the experience of love. Everything and anything becomes possible for people who are in love. Their whole futures open up. Everything melts away. And everything and anything becomes completely potent in the moment. The senses are open. The ears are open. You feel listened to. You're listening to someone else. Love is an experience that has no pattern. And it doesn't even need, you know it in the moment. It doesn't even need a pattern. And people start doing things that they never thought that they would ever do. That kind of inspiration, that kind of deep inspiration that comes from love overrides all patterns. This is a breath of life. This is life force. That is vitality when everything melts away. And it's possible to bring in that energy. We call it love, and it's a miracle when it happens because it happens so few times in people's lifetimes, if even ever. When you start dating or doing something new like this, you get out of the house, you start going places. People attach experiences with the love, but really it's love that creates love. You're set free from all the patterns and the beliefs. It's one of the most powerful things you can give to someone, is to see them outside of their patterns and beliefs. When you fall in love with someone, you don't see them for their patterns and beliefs. They're not an item to you. They're melted. They're source. They're fire. They're space. And this has to be seen with the eyes of the spirit. In order to love, you must be able to see with the eyes of the spirit. You must be embodied in your body. You must be whole and seated in the seat of your soul, in the tower of your kingdom. And with that, love will arise. So, how movement is affected by abuse, to conclude class today. What abusers do to trap people in their patterns and beliefs, whether it is a parent, a corporation, emotional, sexual, physical abuse, is to take away their knowing that they will ever be loved. What makes people stay in abusive patterns is they know that they will never be loved. Women who are in abusive relationships, they always stay because they actually believe and they conceive that they will never be loved. Men stay in abusive relationships because they believe that they will never be loved. They literally live in a pattern of disbelief of love. And you can take away somebody's belief, as I just spoke about, but in love, love brings forward all possibilities in health, in finances, in well-being, and in freedom and longevity. To change a pattern really just requires starting a new pattern. And what we're going to be looking at is starting patterns that are accesses to love. And that's our class for today. Through that arises relationships success is natural. Being in love with being in your body, having physical well-being, self-worth, self-acceptance, and that leads us to the power of ceremony. Because ceremony without love is like throwing rocks in a well. It'll just hit and then disappear. I want you to contemplate the lack of love in your life this week. And I want you to become present and aware to the physical poisoning of your movement habits, where you eat bitter, where you speak bitter, where you feel shut down. And then at the time around that, start to become aware of the physical items in your life, the things that you're doing, the way that you're entrapping yourself to never experience physical love. Because that is the only thing that can override all of this that we're talking about, which is intrinsic, meaning that it's one with the human experience. And so to transcend that oppression, one must go deeper and higher simultaneously to start new cycles and patterns physically that draw in love. God bless.